Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pause Menu Podcast. We are your two hosts for this week. We have the eToy20. Say hi.
Hello guys, I'm playing P4 right now. I'm the guy of the gameplay in the background. I should probably pause this, actually. So it's actually a pause menu. How do you
Yes,
pause in
definitely.
P4?
Is it not just? Oh man, I'm not a computer, so I don't know.
Where is the pause menu in this? I'm like pressing like random buttons like, alright, this gotta be a, oh okay, so that's the map. Press F. Nope, we gotta go cancel that one.
Well, as eToy tries to figure out how to pause.
I guess I can just be like on the streets, just doing this thing while I figure out
I gue-
how the heck to pause in P4, I guess.
I guess just leave it on the map for now.
How
Right?
do I get in the map?
You said F, right?
Yeah, so that's the I go to the shopping district, and then I can leave the shopping district actually, and then yeah, that's the map right there with no music playing in the background.
I guess that's our pause menu for
The
this
map.
week.
Yeah, I guess so. Just chilling here.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's
And
once I figure
yeah.
out the pause. Yeah.
So yeah, that was eToy, and again, my name is Ali Bra, or as eToy will refer to me as Rap for this week's podcast.
For
Um,
practically every podcast.
yeah, every podcast from now on.
Everybody. Yeah.
So before we start off with anything, how's your week, dude? It's been about a week since we recorded last.
It's been interesting. Just kind of keep on at it. I went to a I know I went to a little like what's it called trip to Michigan to a friend's camper just to kind of like see what's out there. Went jet skiing for the first time. Fell off for the first time as well.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
It
I
was
can't.
fun though,
I
right?
can't. Yeah, I can't swim, so that was kind of a terrifying experience.
You can't
Uh,
swim? Are
I
you serious?
know. No, I cannot swim. I cannot swim at
Oh
all.
my goodness.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think you're supposed to wear a life vest either way when you're
Yeah,
out
yeah.
jet skiing. But yeah, I can't swim, so like when we fell off, I was like, oh shit, this might be it. This might
That's
be.
so interesting. I didn't know you couldn't swim.
Yeah. No, I can't swim. I never learned how
Oh
to.
man.
Well, okay. So to kind of clarify that, I can do like strokes, like forwards, backward. I can like swim backwards, I guess. I can do sideways, I'm pretty sure. But I just can't stationary float. Like I can't just like,
Oh, you can't tread water, right? I
yeah,
guess.
that's just not something I can do.
Oh man, that's interesting. I mean, if it's any consolation, I didn't really learn how to properly swim until I was in sixth grade.
Hmm.
Uh, and I was only learning how to swim because I was like, okay, you know what? I'll try competitive swimming in middle school. And let me say, I wasn't the best. I was this basically overweight kid at the start trying to swim. And let me tell you, it's a little embarrassing when your ass can take up basically half the lane. But, we get through it. Obviously, as the training progressed, I got skinnier and skinnier. But until we got to the diving portion,
Oh gosh.
let's just say I wasn't the best at like smoothly gliding into the water. It was a more of a, how do I put this, a tsunami effect
Like a like a
as
big
I jumped
drop.
in. Yeah, literally, it was bad, man. I still never got it, but you know what? It was okay. In one of my competitions, though, I did get fourth place for freestyle.
Well, that's nice. That's pretty good.
It's pretty. That was it. That was it.
That was it.
That's
Yeah.
the only accomplishment I had.
What's it called? I remember when I was in grade school. I was in, I think it was second grade. This was all the way back when I was still living in the Philippines. I remember we had a swimming lesson. We had for PE. We had a swimming unit, and I remember seeing that unit, and I was like, going in there just absolutely terrified. Because one, I know for a fact that I was gonna embarrass myself. Like everyone now is gonna know that I don't know how to swim, right? But now it's like, man, what if I really can't swim? Like I'm gonna end up like drowning here and like embarrassing myself in front of everyone else in this place. Like this was just it was such a scary experience to just like what's it called? To just to just go into that pool, be like, what's gonna happen? You know?
Yeah, it's interesting too, because in the Philippines, it's like, at least to my understanding, the stereotype is like everyone kind of knows how to swim because we're in like a basically Pacific Islander like area. You know, we're basically in Oceania, and it's like I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. Since we were born in the Philippines, don't know how to swim.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in the city, so there wasn't really,
Oh, I guess yeah,
yeah, I didn't really need, there wasn't really a need for me to like go swimming.
yeah.
We rarely went on the beach, and when we did, it's like where my cousins were. And like they all know how to swim because they actually live in an island that is surrounded by a lot of water. They live closer to the shore or to the water area, whereas I live more so like at the heart of the city. You know, like not necessarily in the city itself, but like the outskirts of the city.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. See, where I was born, or at least where I lived most of the time when I was a baby, was in my dad's hometown in Batangas, uh, which was like super close to the ocean. We were
Night.
basically within a mile
Sorry, give me one
of
second.
it.
Give me one second.
Yeah, but as we wait for Ito to fix his whatever, we were super close to the ocean. Basically every day, my dad told me that I would just go swimming when I was a baby, and at this point, I'm surprised if I don't have like 2% salt water in my body.
So I had to like
Very.
I had to beat my mic because my mom was like asking me what was I doing.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
I
thought
was just filming, or not filming. I was just talking to this guy.
I was just doing a podcast, you know, just doing this podcast.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't noticed either, we I don't know if you guys noticed the audio at all, but we switched to Discord because our one of our hosts here got a capture card.
Yeah, which I can't use right now. I didn't realize that what's it called? I didn't realize that streaming was very expensive, or streaming and recording in general is very expensive. At least for the PlayStation 4 anyways, because you have to buy not only the capture card, but you also have to buy um what's it called? You have to buy a chat link in order to be able to record the audio from your PlayStation 4, both the chat audio, and you have to buy a separate microphone in order to actually record your audio for streaming. So it's a lot of setup and equipment just to record something. Unlike when you're just doing it in PC, where it's just download OBS and that's it.
You
That's
cut out there.
oh I don't know where I left off in terms of like that, but basically like
This is our first run,
yeah, this is our first run, so this is gonna be a very choppy experience for this
the
podcast.
first run with Discord. So bear
Yeah,
with us here.
it's a very, very choppy experience. God.
It's weird too because like all the streamers make it look super easy to stream. Like I was watching like old Tim the Tatman clips the other day, and it just looked like he was just wearing his headset. Like I have a Logitech headset that has a built-in mic.
Hmm.
He looks like he just had this connected to his laptop, and that's all he was using, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not entirely sure we need all that, but as of now, it kind of sounds like we need that chat link, the microphone for streaming. But if
And
anyone knows any other alternatives, please let us know.
yeah, I think it's just specifically for PlayStation 4 users and sometimes Xbox users. You don't really need the chat link for Xbox, but for PS4 you do. For but for both PS4 and Xbox, you do need a microphone in order to record your audio to stream. If you want to stream your gameplay while using a capture card. Um, but yeah, like I said, for PC, it's not. It's so simple. Just use OBS and you're pretty much good to go. Like that's all you need. Um, so, but
It's
yeah.
definitely, yeah, it sounds incredibly tedious, not as easy as it sounds. Anything else happen in your week?
Let's see. No, that's pretty much it. What about you? How was your week?
Oh man, where do I even begin, dude? So, uh, just to pick up from last week, I mentioned I got a car, a manual car,
Oh, nice.
and I've been practicing a lot recently. I've been just driving around the neighborhood, getting used to the clutch and upshifting and downshifting. Uh, I've driven to my school a couple times, and eh, I guess it's I guess it's safe to say that I was extremely nervous because it obviously it's a far distance. And well, not really nervous. It's nerve-wracking because I need to be able to get this down, like the upshifting, downshifting, braking while shifting gears while you're in a turn. All this before school starts within a couple weeks because my school starts August 24th, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's scarier too because I'm going to have to drive my younger brother because of this whole COVID situation. We don't really want him riding in a bus, neither do I. Um,
Oh, that's right.
so I'm going to have another passenger with me. And
So,
I'm sure by the time I'll be able to get used to it, but just right now it's kind of a tough experience.
yeah, that's actually that's interesting. Like, so for your school, right? So full disclosure for the people and the viewers, I actually went to the same school as Rap over here. A lot older, but I went through the same thing. So interestingly enough, are they having you guys go back to school, like actually be in the classrooms instead of
Oh
online
yeah.
classes? Wow.
So, well, it's a hybrid.
That's
It's a
not
hybrid.
that's not surprising at all considering what school we're going to or I
Yeah,
went to.
it's a hybrid. So we have 2 days in which the students come in.
Hmm.
I'm not exactly sure, but it's 2 days. But it's the days are split between attendance alphabetical. So say, for example, A to M goes on the
Hmm.
first day. And while the students are there in class, the other half actually has to be there at the same time online, right? So technically, we're not missing any students in between. But then the next
Oh,
day, it's flipped, right? So
it's
it's then
flipped.
N to Z.
Okay.
So, but
And then
here's the kicker: it's not a full day of school. It's
oh,
only from yeah, exactly. It's only from 8 o'clock to 11:15 Itoy.
okay.
It's 3 hours 15 minutes of school.
So why even go? Like
I
that's
know. That's what I was saying. It's like, what's the point if we're just gonna be there for 3 hours 15 minutes?
yeah,
And
just
I get it. We need to go to school, but ah, it's just there's so many things that can go wrong, man. Like I saw on Twitter the other day, the school opened up, and then like within hours on the first day, they had to go into lockdown or quarantine because of a student um, was tested positive for corona
yeah, and
or
like
COVID-19.
and that's I mean like our school's pretty or your school's pretty compact, so like there's a lot of I mean even though you have the students, there's still a very small room where, people are around you, Like it's not a very open school, I would say. So there's a lot of chances for people to get COVID essentially. And like if you're gonna have students go there anyways for 3 hours, I don't understand what can you not teach in those 3 hours that you can't teach online. I guess yeah, physical education you can't do that, but I think at this point in time, physical education is the last thing on everyone's mind. Like people can just do at home exercises and whatnot. Um, and I mean let's face it, like for PE, after freshman year, nobody takes that seriously. Like at least I don't know about I don't know about you guys now, but when I was there, none of us took PE seriously. Like after sophomore year, everyone would just like walk around the tracks and that was it. So that's the only that's the only thing that I can think of that would require people to go to school. Everything else can be taught online, through like actual classes. It's not necessarily something that we can something that you have to be there for. And you're just adding more. At this point, I feel like you're just adding more inconveniences to students by having them wake up early in the morning to drive instead of just waking up early in the morning and just learn through an online course. I get it, like not everyone has stable Wi-Fi, but I feel like the safer option would still be just keep it online.
Yeah, and just to play devil's advocate, another thing is that some students or some families rely on school to be able to pay or give lunch for their kids. But that's the thing too. If we're staying only to 11, they're not going to be giving us lunch. And as
Yeah.
well as, again, for internet reasons too, not every student has access to internet. Um, most do. but in some cases they don't. And it's just a tough line to draw. It's definitely not safe, in my opinion. It's definitely not safe.
That's true. Well, I guess I know it's kind of going back on what
Like,
I. Sorry, go ahead.
um, why wouldn't it just be like a week at the most, like 7 days in a month, where we just go back, but it's only for testing, right? To take tests or any major finals,
Hmm.
and then the rest would just be online. That's it.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say was for the students that rely on like the school for the internet, which I don't think would be a lot, right? It probably would be like 10 people, 10% of the students. Just have those people come in, and I mean it's still having them come in, but at the same time it's like reducing the amount of people that would need to actually like be at the school grounds. They could just be in the library, just going through the courses and whatnot through the online course, and that's it. You can easily separate like
Yeah,
those many people compared to, let's say, students A to M or N to Z. You know?
and it's still a lot of kids, like you said. So I believe in the school right now we have around 1,300 kids. Even if you split that in half, it's still around 650 kids, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of the classrooms are going to be packed. Like most of my classes
Hmm.
have around 30 to 36 students. You cut that in half, it's still around 18 students, right? And
Yeah.
that's still a lot. All it takes is for one student to be tested positive, and the whole school is on lockdown.
Exactly. I've been, yeah, and like I said, I've been to that school, so like I know for a fact that there's a lot of rooms that don't have windows, so you're all in that small room just like breathing in the COVID. That's definitely not healthy.
And yeah, there's a lot of rooms where it could be insanely hot or
Oh
moist,
yeah.
and there's rooms that could be insanely cold. Like there's no in between.
I think the
And
math room was like one of those rooms, right? Like the fourth floor rooms. One of those like
they weren't. Oh yeah, yeah, they were
extreme
bad.
temperatures. Yeah. I'm
Like every day, even if it was winter, it would either have a window open or the AC would be blasted to full.
Oh my God. Who blasts AC in the middle of winter? That's just ridiculous.
You'd be surprised, man. It's atrocious there.
Dude,
It's
I
just unsafe.
I remember when I was still there, or actually, it was after a few. It was a few years after I left. I remember our school went on national TV because it was one of the few schools that refused to close down during an
Oh
especially
my god.
brutal winter where like the temperatures was in the negatives, and people, and they still had kids walking to school at that time, and I was like, I'm so happy that I don't go to that school anymore.
Oh my god, bro. I was actually about to mention that. I was like, sidetrack. Our school never closes for anything.
No, it
Like
doesn't.
they will find the tiniest excuse to stay open.
Yep. That's why
And
I
like
said I'm not surprised that they're open right now with COVID.
I know it's so unsafe. Given, of course, there's other schools opening up, but let's say like for this, like you mentioned, the school wouldn't close if it was like super freezing. There was one instance. Was it? I think it was my sophomore year. So it was super cold during winter. It was like right before winter break, and the news came to the school because we were one of the only ones open, right?
Yeah.
And funny enough, they showed a picture of the one of my friends walking to school, but they're just in shorts. Like everyone's either like wearing shorts or not wearing a top jacket,
Oh my God.
and it just makes our image look so bad. And it's like, oh my god, blue ribbon school, by the way.
Blue Ribbon School, we're not gonna close down for crap. Just keep opening the kids. Keep opening for the kids because we
It's
value our education.
anywho, back to my week, I guess. What was I talking about?
Yeah, you were scared of
My
like,
car,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I've been practicing. I've been practicing getting better. I'm getting more confident for sure. Um, Shifting up a hill too. It's like I don't know if you've ever driven clutch before, but it's like so when you're starting from a stop, like from stop to go,
Mm,
you're accelerating, right? But your first gear doesn't go really fast. Like first gear is usually just from 0 to 10, 0 to 15 possibly if you rev up the engines up to 3000 RPM. But once you hit that line, you have to shift to second gear. But you're going up a hill, right? So you have to take your foot off the gas,
So you'd be falling.
depress the clutch. Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be necessarily falling, but
Right.
you'd be like paused with like little momentum, and it's super scary. There's like one part of the drive back school to my home. It's just scary. It's just one turn. It's from like an off road to the main road, but it's uphill onto a bridge. That's 35 miles per hour.
Oh
It
God.
doesn't sound a lot, right? But it's scary when you're just starting out, obviously. But I'm getting better. Um,
Yeah.
moving on from that,
I know
uh,
what hill you're talking about because like
yeah,
I've been to that place before too, and during times where like I guess now you don't have to worry about it, but during the times when there's usually a football game playing or there's like some sort of event that's going on around that town area, there's gonna be a lot of cars parked in the streets. So the actual like room that you have in between the different cars is very narrow. So you would actually have to navigate very carefully between those. And if you're going up the hill, it just makes it more difficult to navigate with uh, a clutch, essentially.
yeah, definitely. I think I know what you're talking about, but it's not like the one near the school. It's the one going onto the bridge, if that makes
Going
sense.
onto the bridge.
It's like you're coming off Main Street and you're turning into, I forgot what street it is.
Oh, like the actual like bridge road, right? Like that's
Yeah,
Lamont Road. Yeah, I know what you mean.
that's the one that's scary. But moving on, um, I've edited most of Ghost of Tsushima, and then it'll be uploading for the rest of the week this week, so that's pretty good.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
that game is amazing, by the way. I fully recommend. It's like a 10 out of 10 for me. But I'm a sucker for those kind of games, though. So, and yeah, I had one hell of a cheat weekend.
Oh yeah.
So,
What did you eat?
oh man, I had like 12 days straight where I had no rest days, and I was just working out basically twice a day
Hmm.
while fasting and dieting. And oh my god, so here's the basis, right? So before the weekend started, I was around 184 pounds. And so I had a cheat weekend, um, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And throughout those days, I was kind of just like sort of fasting, but not really. But I was also just inhaling calories because I was like, you know what, I need this rest. I may have overdone it a little bit, but it was actually worth it. I got some good rest. And so weight wise, let's just say I had some sodium and water retention, quote unquote. And I went from Friday to Saturday, 184 to 186. And then I want you to guess how many pounds I gained from Saturday to Sunday.
I'm gonna guess 5 pounds. I'm not good at these, but I'm gonna guess 5 pounds.
You were close. It was 6.
6 pounds in
I
one
went.
day?
I basically went to 192. I was at
Holy
191.6.
shit. In one day. That's
Yeah, bro.
insane. You know
Do
how,
not underestimate sodium.
dude, I've been trying to, well, back when I was like serious when it comes to tracking calories and whatnot, I remember like working hard just to get past 150 from like 148, right? And once I got to 150, I'm like, man, I really want to get to like 160 so I can start cutting down to 155. And I never got past 155. I think at one point I got to 155, and then I just kind of dropped to like 153. And then after that, Corona started, so I couldn't do it anymore. But dude, for me to gain like 10 pounds without like just straight up just eating like, I don't know, a funnel cake every single day, that would take me like probably a good year for that to happen. But you just did that in like, you essentially did that like 6 pounds in like a span of one day. Like that's
Yeah,
actually crazy.
it's. I know it doesn't seem healthy, but the thing is, it's just you're just bloated with salt and oxygen and water, right?
Yeah.
So if you just wait a day, it'll go, and it did. Um, I did end up losing 6 pounds back, so I'm back at 186. You
Okay.
know, I'm not exactly 184, but it's close enough. But here's the thing, though. That rest day really did help because I am the most cut I've ever seen myself, like ever. like more lean than I was like when I was at 184, which doesn't make sense, but
Yeah,
it's strange, man. The body moves in mysterious ways.
I know.
You
I'm not a health major, so like I don't know exactly like how to what's it called? How
explain
to
that.
really how to really explain that. I know like one of our friends like he's like that. This is essentially his major, right? He would be able to explain it a lot better than us. How it actually works when it comes to the body and like calories in, calories out. But
Well, the I sort of know the gist. This is based off Instagram. So basically, as you're burning fat, the way that I read it or interpreted it is that you're sort of not really losing fat. You're kind of just losing water weight. So
mhm,
imagine a big circle, right?
yeah,
The circle is your fat cell. And when you work out, your fat cell starts to become hollow. So imagine a blue outline, and there's a smaller circle on the inside, which is your fat cell.
hmm,
So as you lose weight, your body's going to try and fill in that space again with water or electrolytes. Um, I guess it's just water is more accurate. So that circle is now filled with a light blue, which is water. But after a couple of days, once you retain the water and then basically pissed it out, that cell will now squeeze down to the smaller circle, and now your fat cells are technically more condensed and smaller. So that's my reasoning behind it. That's the way I've always thought of it. Um, that's also my reasons for, or at least my reasoning for weight fluctuations from like whenever I'm losing weight. But that's the best way I can explain it. If anyone can tell us how it works, please do. It'd be
yeah.
very interesting to see.
Oh yeah. Put it in the comment section below.
Yeah,
So it's not about going back to the gym. I've been thinking about going back to the gym this week, just 'cause like
really.
yeah, just 'cause like I don't know, it's been a while since I've been there. I've had a lot of my friends have been going back actually, and I've had some discussions with like some people like how bad it is here in our state, and it's not that bad. I'm still like I'm still wary. I'm still on the fence about it, just like 'cause it's just like you're in an enclosed area, sweating essentially, and it's very easy to spread COVID in those kinds of areas, right? Especially in a public area. Um, so part of me is like, man, I probably shouldn't go. But the other part is like, maybe it's not that bad in this area. But then again, it's like you don't want to be thinking. That's not the kind of mindset you want to be thinking in a pandemic. So I'm really torn about that. But I've been thinking about going back this week, just to kind of like get back on the grind, essentially, like get back on some of the gym stuff that I was supposed to do months ago.
Putting of
Um,
weight,
like what?
just pushing weight again, like not being doing other stuff than body weight, basically.
Yeah, essentially. It's hard to motivate myself to do bodyweight stuff, but with the gym, it's like I have a goal, like I have a goal in terms of like how much I want to squat, how much I want to bench, and how much I want to deadlift, and I can work towards those goals, and I can program myself to work towards that goal, right? But when it comes to bodyweight, I don't really have a goal of like how many push-ups I want to do, or how many squats I want to do, or how many pull-ups I want to do. It's just a matter of like, yeah, I just want to improve like what I want to do for these body exercises, but there's not a goal that I've set when it comes to the bodyweight stuff that I could really look forward to working on. And because there's not that end game that I want to get to, it's hard for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna set like 30 minutes or even 15 minutes just doing this. Like at this point it's just maintenance for that.
And it's hard because it's, in my opinion, it's always better to be safe than sorry, especially right now. Because the gym environment is obviously an enclosed rectangle where everyone's breathing hard and sweating. And not everyone wipes down the bench or the seat, and I know that.
hmm
Um,
I used to do that kind
so,
of person.
oh no, oh no.
I did that for like what's it called? I used to do that back in COD. Or I should have probably said that name.
Whoa, whoa.
I used to do it back in one of my older schools, but I think eventually I was like, yeah, it's fine. I think I only did it when like the sweat is like visible on the seat, and
Hmm.
I was like, okay, that's kind of gross. Let me just wipe that down. But I think for the most part, I just ignored that and I just went straight to working out. But now I'm good. I'm gonna have to do that in any case.
Yeah. See, when I was in football, the coaches always like made it a point to always clean off the bench because like shit, you can get catch some serious stuff if you just don't wipe it down. Like it's worse in a gym, but imagine in football after a hard day on the field, like everyone's already sweaty,
Oh yeah,
stinky. Oh my God.
it's
Whew.
probably necessary for that environment, I guess, because you guys are
Oh yeah,
doing more
completely.
cardio than an average gym goer, really.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah, because when you're
Oh,
weightlifting, you're
insane.
not really sweating that much. You're just like, I mean, like, well, I mean, you kind of are if you're going for high reps, but at the same time, it's not like you're not sweating as much as if you were running or you were on the field out in the sun. Especially if you're in an enclosed area and there's AC blasting like 24/7, you're not gonna be sweating that much.
That's the thing. There was no AC in our weight room.
Jesus Christ, that's so
It's
bad.
all just air. Well, there is AC, but the AC in the weight room is only pulling from the air outside, so it's either really cold or usually it's in the summer, so it's really hot and moist. It would be disgusting, dude. Oh my goodness.
Wow, I'm
It was bad.
so happy I didn't do football in high school.
I know. Well,
Well,
I love
yeah,
football. I honestly loved it. I had to stop for medical reasons. But
yeah,
football is the main reason, one of the main reasons why I have my physique that I have today. Because what I built then is progressed to now.
yeah.
Um, it's also one of the main reasons how how I know how to build my routine, like my lifting routine when I'm at the gym. Because I don't really go in there planning on what to do. I kind of have it already like memorized from football or have an idea what I'm supposed to work in what order, right?
Hmm.
So I'm thankful for football for that. I'm also thankful for the mindset that it gives you. Is just you just work hard and you know the results will come in due time.
Yeah.
And it's true. Hell, I've been at this weight loss game since quarantine started, and I've lost like about 20, 24 pounds. It's pretty dope to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, looking back, like, okay, so I know I did say like I wish I didn't do football, or I'm glad I didn't do football, but I think like for like honestly speaking, I wish that I kind of did do some sort of sport in high school. I was that one kid, didn't do any. I did like fencing on the side for Park District, but it was more so like a recreational thing. It wasn't really like a competitive thing for me. But I was that one kid that didn't do any sports, but had like a good score in Call of Duty. Um, so I was the nerdy kid, right? But
Hmm.
part of me was like, man, I kind of wish I had the courage to just go out there and do some sort of sport. Because my main problem was when I was in high school was I didn't really know what I wanted to do in when it comes to like clubs and activities as well as sports, right? So like when it comes to sports, I was like, man, I'm not really cut out for football. I'm not really cut out for basketball. Not really cut out for track and field or whatever like that. I was always thinking about like the negatives, like I'm not really cut out for any of these, so I just didn't end up joining. But part of me looks back and thinks now, I'm thinking now like maybe if I just like went for it, maybe if I just said fuck it and just applied for a position on the football team, even if I didn't do so well in the first time around, maybe they could have whipped me up to shape and gotten me like basically gotten better right that right. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I were to do high school over again, I would. That's probably one of the things that I would do to um to go back and do some sort of sport.
Definitely. And I was the same way. The, I didn't really put myself out there until the end of sophomore year, and then the rest of my junior year, I was just out there, right? The only reason why I did football is because I had a lot of friends there, anyways, and they were saying like I'd be good because at the end of eighth grade year, I was probably one of the skinniest I've ever been. I was around 150, but
Hmm.
I was still huge, right? I had a lot of natural muscle mass, and so I play basketball as a center, and I'm just naturally aggressive. Like I play really hard when it's really competitive. Like I'm super competitive. And they were saying like football is a perfect environment for you, dude. You gotta go for it. So I went for it. If it wasn't for those people telling me to do it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Like I was I didn't do basketball in high school. I tried out, but I didn't make it. So that kind of discouraged me for the rest. Um, I didn't do swim because I honestly didn't like swim when I was in middle school. It was fun, but it's just not my thing. And I didn't do any clubs like other than like student council. Or, that was basically it. But then the more that you progress through the years, or the more that I progress through the years, it's like, is this really how I want to remember my high school experience? Just be kind of on the side, you know? And that's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. There's plenty of people who just kind of just stay on the side in high school are very successful now or having a better time now. High school was not the best time for everyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, you know what? I might as well just make the best out of this. I won't see these people ever again, most likely after high school, so I'm just going to enjoy my time here while it lasts. And then, I started going to different clubs. I started upping my grades more, making a little bit more friends. Well, more acquaintances, not friends. Outside of my mini friend group, and it was nice. It's definitely it makes the high school life more enjoyable.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I get that. It's like I had the same feeling actually when I was in high school. Just kind of thinking like, man, I don't want to be that person who just kind of goes here and doesn't make a lot of memories out of it. I don't want to just go to school and then get out of school and then that's it. Like I want to actually like make some decent memories. So I did also start joining some clubs. Um, when I was getting to my junior year, my senior year. Um, but I feel like that also made me kind of like desperate to join a lot of things. Um, because I want to make the most out of my high school experience. So I was trying to do things left and right. And when I got to college, I was like, okay, I don't want a repeat of high school where I didn't do a lot. Besides junior, senior, I want to do a lot in college, and you can't really do that in college in a sense. Like you have to be focused on your priorities, and the number one of those priorities being getting your degree. You can't try to treat college like you treated high school, where your goal is to just join a lot of things for the sake of joining things. Like no, you should join like one, maybe two things that you want to join in, that you want to join to because that's what's going to be important. But yeah, with the high school thing, it's like you kind of don't want to be like the background person. You don't want to be you don't want to be the wallflower. You know what I mean? Like you ever see the movie or the book or read the book Perks of a Wallflower?
I have not, but I just go on.
Yeah. Uh, so being a wallflower basically means like you're just kind of like on the side, on the background. Like you're kind of like that. If this was if high school was a movie, you're kind of like that one kid that just passes by the hallway, and it's like
Or tree
not
number
in.
two in the play.
Yeah, like you're like not important at all to the story of the protagonist or whatever like that, right? Like you don't want to be that. You want to make your own high school story. You want to have fun in high school, right? You want to have that stupid fun, the Project X kind of fun that you see in the movies and whatnot. You want to make the most out of it because you're seeing everything, or at least I did anyways. Um, I saw things in like that rose-tinted glass of like this is one of the last few times that I can have like this stupid fun and you know before becoming like an adult or whatever, and I want to make the most out of it. And I think that's what kind of motivated me. That's one of the things that sort of like drove me to join stuff essentially, right? I don't want to like be in the background, but I also at the same time I also didn't want to like hang out with like the wrong kids or like the wrong group of people. So I tried joining clubs to try to hang out with the right group of people.
Exactly. And that was the thing is too, um, like there's always been a part of me where it's like I just want to have a taste of what those kids feel like. Just bullshitting class, just goofing around, just not giving a fuck. Right. Like I've always wanted to have a taste of that, but then most of me is just like, no, dude, you don't want that. Like as fun as it seems, it's definitely not worth it. And it's weird too. Like I'm so fortunate to have a great group of friends that are on the right way, have good mindsets, and we all have individual goals. And we're just like, yeah, dude, um, we're just super close, and we don't really care for going to different colleges as long as we're doing good for ourselves. That's all we really care about. And I'm fortunate enough to have a group of friends like that. It's really everything. It's just you put yourself around good people, and honestly, any experience, whether it be high school, college, or possibly the rest of your life, it'll just be so much more grandiose, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of weird how like the people you hang out with makes so much difference, you know? Um, like if it like people say like, oh, like you should be accepting of everyone. Like you should. But at the same time, it's like you have to be careful of like who you have in your life in a sense because like having the right group of people to like motivate you to push through like certain obstacles in your life, right? Like that's what makes a difference. If you hang out with people that um if you hang out with the wrong crowd essentially, is what I'm trying to say, then it could lead to a lot of bad things in your life. You know, it sounds stereotypical, but at the same time it's true. You know, like if you hang out with the people that don't really take like let's say school seriously or don't take life seriously as well, who kind of just they're in the background just I don't know smoking weed or whatever like that. Not that it's a bad thing, but you know what I mean. Um, if you hang out with if you hang out with like those kind of people, then you're gonna end up being like those kind of people, and over time, it's just gonna be like it's just gonna be that you're just gonna be unmotivated to do anything. So it's the people you hang out with is very very important, in my opinion.
It's not stereotypical too. It's proven by psychology. Like we learned that there's a whole unit on social psych in AP Psych that which I took junior year, like last semester, and it's so true. Like you are a product of the people around you and your environment. Um, if you, like you said, if you hang out with the wrong group of people with the wrong mindsets, you will adapt or adopt that mindset. If you hang out with people smarter than you, there are two ways you can go. You'd either be discouraged by how smart they are and you kind of just ride their coattails, or you'd rise to their state, to their level, which I kind of did throughout junior year. Like most of my friends, well, a lot, like all four of my friends, are pretty much smarter than me in some aspects. Of course, I have some stronger suits, but that's not the point. Like they are really smart in terms of academics. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have passed this year with like a 4.875 GPA. Like that's just a fact. Like I probably would have had half B's, like four B's, four A's, if it wasn't for them. And then, not to name names, but there are just so many people like that come from middle school and then into high school that just drift into the wrong path just because of the people they're around. And their excuses sometimes like, no, don't worry, I'll take life seriously after high school. That's when it really starts. Or what's another excuse? He's like, I'm just trying to have the best high school experience, party, this and that.
Yeah.
But it's I don't. It may be just me, because I've never always been like a party type of guy or just break the rules for no reason. Um, but I don't know. It just seems so bad. Like I've seen so many of my old friends from middle school just go down a wrong path that just seems so bad thing to see. Which is why I'm also really glad to have the friends I have now.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Well,
Forgot what I
it's
was
a
gonna.
lot. That's a
Yeah.
really deep.
Yeah, that's a really deep one. But yeah, it's hard because like there's so many different perspectives on like how you should take not just high school, but like how you should take certain aspects of life. Um, I guess for high school, some people say so when I was there, some people told me like don't take high school too seriously, or don't take this class too seriously. Just kind of enjoy yourself. Don't do this to yourself, right? But then other people are like, no, you should take this seriously, take high school seriously because this is what's gonna get you into a good college, blah blah blah. So it's like no one's wrong in essence, but you just don't know who to follow, which advice to follow. And people say like, oh, you should follow like people, you should follow your heart, you should follow what you think is right, right? But because these two people, like these two perspectives are telling you like one is the right way, the other one is like their right way. You don't know which one to follow at that point. Like you don't know which one your heart is telling you to follow. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and what I always think of it is that, to, okay, well, I've always thought of it as like there's not really a wrong perspective. To you, it may be wrong based off your 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 mental schemas or whatever.
Hmm.
But if you just look at it from like an outsider's perspective, you're just looking at two different stories, right? Like you don't know who's wrong or who's right.
Yeah.
Like hell, there's obviously been some kids or some past kids in high school who basically blew off the entirety of it and are insanely, like extremely successful today. But at the other end of the spectrum, there's also people who took high school extremely serious are also successful, and vice versa. They can also be like unsuccessful as well for both of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I still think it's a matter of whether they set themselves back on a proper path after high school or college. But it's hard because nowadays, like you can make some dumbass rap song and go platinum.
I know. It's
Like,
so like yeah, like back then when I went there, like there's always that stereotype that people used to have where it's like, oh, if you're the popular jock or whatever, like the popular kid, like you're gonna be end up you're gonna be like a middle person or like a middle of the line kind of person, or worst case scenario, you're not gonna end up well after high school. But if you're nerd or you're unpopular, you're gonna end up super successful in high school, and that is like the biggest bullshit that they're gonna taught you. Like that is so not true. When you actually get to the real world, it's like no, like everyone has like an equal chance of like reaching high places and reaching bottom places. Just look at our president, just like
okay, hold on, pause. Like we have our own opinions of who's in office, but we
yeah,
just keep it out of our keep
that's
it
that's true.
non-political.
That's true. Like, yeah, I should probably do. I should probably do that. But I mean, like that's the thing though. It's like, what's it called? Like, there's really no
Yeah,
formula for success in a sense, or for having a good life. There's no formula. There's
exactly.
no trace that predetermine that. And sadly, it's also sort of like real life RNG in a sense, where you could be like the most hardworking person. You could be like the kindest person out there. But um what's it called? But life
Never always
just
be too kind
yeah,
to
or like life just hands you like bad apples and things don't work out for you. Or on the other hand, you could be like the worst kind of person, but you get lucky here and there and all of a sudden like your life's really good, you know. It's
them.
just a matter of like everything's just a matter of perspective, I guess at that point.
Yeah, of course. And I always see it as like I always see life as a video game because video games is the thing I have most knowledge of, or just games in general. It's just playing the card you've been dealt, right?
Hmm.
Like playing the hand you've got. You make the best of your situation and you just move forward. And it never always doesn't always go swell for some people. But in today's world, it's really different. Like anyone like has an equal chance. Like education is no longer king. It doesn't always equate to success afterwards,
Yeah.
right? And it's definitely interesting. Like it's scary to think about for me because I'm going into college soon, right? And I'm gonna going into nursing. But after that's all said and done, it's like it's it's unfathomable to me, like the amount of freedom you'd have after college. Like you're just out there with no tutorial, no manual. You're just there. It's like, here you go out there, don't die.
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel like once you get to once you graduate high school, like life just sort of opens up. Um, and in a sense, college is a way for people to kind of like get back some sort of like semblance or some sort of structure in their life back. At least that's how I see it, right? Because when you take college, it doesn't necessarily feel like high school, but at the same time, you have some sort of structure in your life where like, okay, I have a schedule that I can follow because I have to complete this and that in order to do well, in order to get my degree, right? Like there's that end goal. But in reality, like you can drop all of that and just follow whatever path you have in life, or whatever path you want in life. You know, there's a lot of people that didn't necessarily go to college. Took like one or two courses, took a couple of courses, and now they end up doing really well because of the experience that they've gained throughout the stuff that they've done, throughout the stuff that they've learned with those courses or with some online courses, right? And you know, like it's sort of like the same thing where like there's no right path once once you actually get to it. Like the world is too open at that point, and it's just a matter of finding something that you want to stick to, or at least I feel like it's just a matter of finding something that you want to stick to and something you want to work towards, and just kind of pursuing that and hoping that that leads somewhere, um, and not stopping halfway through and being like, yeah, this wasn't really working out for me, so I'm just not gonna pursue it. I mean, sometimes that's like a good thing to do if it really isn't working out, but at the same time, it's just it like if you find something you want to do, you just have to pursue it. Like you have to pursue that goal because that's how you bring the structure into your life in a sense.
Yeah, and like like I said earlier, college is not always the way anymore. There's so many people out there who just didn't go to college and just learned off online resources, like from old stuff from the library or just the internet in general. There's so much shit on the internet, and it's just
Oh
like
yeah.
it's insane. Like I'm just gonna mention one of my uh, idols for investing, Grant Cardone. Like I don't remember if he went to college or not. I think he did, but he learned how to invest real estate basically all on his own while working the entire time, uh, working from scratch, starting from like around 16 units, building up to 48 units, up now to today he has over like 1,000 units, and his net worth is like 1 billion, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see because it's like I'm gonna relate this to Skyrim because I relate a lot of stuff to games. Because so the way Skyrim works, right? You have one character and you can branch out to whatever build you want. It can be just a battle mage. It can be just a straight up mage. It can be a sneak build, an archer build, um, an illusionist, a necromancer, anything. And it's just like what Itoi said. You just choose one and you just go for it. And if it's not for you, just reset. Like in the game, you can reset your skill tree. Just go put it into another skill tree. Put those points into another skill tree. Thing I'm like, obviously, some people may disagree, but you can't always just reset because there'll be a point in your life where you may be too old to restart, right?
Yeah.
But I say a good like I'm the youngest out of like everyone who might go into this podcast, but I always think, and like from Gary Vee to anyone always says like from years 20 to like 40 or 50, that's still young in terms of them because there's so much stuff you can do in that time. Like 30 years is a lot of time. Like it's enough time for you to figure out what you want to do and just go for it, right? And build.
Yeah. Like they do say that it's never too late to start anything, right? But I think one of the biggest things um that I've sort of learned Like one big difference between life and games is that the consequences for, you know, let's say like restarting or losing in a video game isn't very high. Like at worst, you have to restart from like another checkpoint or something like that, right? Assuming you don't delete your save file, you have to restart from another checkpoint that's like a few minutes off before the boss, and now you have to go through all that stuff again. But there's not a lot of consequences, and that's kind of like what makes games fun, where um, you can struggle to succeed, but if you lose, there's not a lot of you don't lose a lot in a sense. All you really lose is your time in real life. That's all you lose. Um, but when it comes to real life, it's like, yeah, you're right. Like when you're resetting, like there's consequences for constantly resetting. There's consequences for not sticking to a certain path. There's consequences for being idle in a sense. Um, and it's hard because you want like yeah, the world is open, but you want to be careful in how you want to spend your time with those. You don't want to spread yourself out too thin, but at the same time, you don't want to invest in something that's not going to have a big payout, or that's not going to have like something to um what's it called, to be beneficial to you in the end, right?
Exactly. Take risks in moderation, or take risks with a rational mind, with a rational mindset.
Yeah,
As long as you're just not being insanely indecisive, I think everyone will be okay, right? Just go with the path, go forward, and just have faith if you have faith.
that's true. That's true.
Again, I am just 17, so whoever's older than me, I don't know if she really should be taking life advice from me, but I'm just repeating what I've learned.
I am a lot older than 17, and I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes in life that people can definitely learn from. But at the same time, I don't feel I can give advice definitely, but there are some things that I feel like I still haven't learned yet, and I um, still don't feel comfortable giving out advice to when it comes to certain topics, because I don't feel like I'm at a point where I can definitely say like, yeah, what I did was the right thing, or what I did was the wrong thing. Here's how you should do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain advices that you want to give, but at the same time you kind of don't have the credentials to give it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can always just say it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's not, I don't have much advice to give or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Then
essentially it.
again, it's only advice. What you do with the said information given is up to you, obviously.
Yeah. And
But
like
just be careful.
yeah, and like the person that's giving advice is constantly changing. Like that's the one thing you have to learn. It's like just because this person says that right now doesn't mean that they won't change their opinion, let's say 3 years or 5 years down the line, right? So you should never take anything like you should never take any form of advice rock solid. Like you should always take it in sort of water where it's constantly changing. Like what this person believes in right now won't necessarily be the same down the line, and what works right now won't necessarily be the same down the line. Um, I think the internet is like the biggest example of that, where like nobody could have predicted that the internet would have been like this huge game changer for how the world works. Like so advice that worked back then, like the pre-internet era, no longer really works nowadays with how it is with with how it is. And I guess another one too is like COVID. Like no one could have predicted like COVID would have been this bad, but now here it is, and some of the stuff that we told ourselves pre-COVID no longer really works nowadays.
Only play game players know. Haha.
Yeah,
Uh, jokes aside, yeah, the world is always changing. Like just 5 years ago, it was a totally different world. Especially with people, opinions change. Opinions can change in a matter of seconds if you just convince them enough, right?
yeah,
And so, yeah. Well, that is really all the time we have you uh, today.
yep.
Um,
It's been
thank you
almost an
everybody
hour.
so much for listening or tuning in. Remember, heed the advice, but don't always take it too seriously unless It's about COVID. Take COVID seriously. The pandemic is nothing to joke about.
Yeah.
Just, if you're going out, be safe. Wear a mask if you so choose. Just be safe. Seriously.
All right. I think it's time for me to unpause this then.
Yep.
If I can figure out how to unpause this game, how do
Oh,
I exit out
Jesus.
the map?
Oh, goodness.
Let's go. Let's
We're
go
struggling.
here. Let's go here, I guess. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Pause Menu podcast. I'm your host Etoy. This was your host Rap,
Yep.
and stay safe out there. See ya.
Peace.